How we doing?
Hey.
All right. Go ahead.
Can you kind of talk about Jeff Stoutland and what he's meant to that offensive line, especially getting the younger guys up to speed?
Who'd you say?
Jeff Stoutland.
Oh, yeah.
Especially getting the younger guys up to speed. I mean, you see other teams, they lose a player here or there,
Right.
they completely fall apart.
Right. Well, I say, Jeff, just being around him, he's a tremendous teacher. A tremendous teacher. The X's and O's part of it, and then the fundamentals and the details. When someone goes down, the next guy steps up, and he grinds during the week to get those guys ready. And you see it in the individual drills. You see it in the meeting room. The passion he coaches with, it continues to show up, and those guys are playing at a high level.
Shane, how has Boston Scott played in the last month?
He's been solid. He's running it good. All those backs are running it good, but he's seen it good. He's hitting the holes. He's sticking his foot in the ground. He's been tremendous.
So coming into this last game, it was good on good. Your running game against their number one ranked running defense. You run for over 200 yards.
Yeah.
What's the adjustment that you expect to see from defenses now that you've proven you can run on anybody?
Well, I think, possibly they could put an extra defender in the box, try to load the box up a little bit. But again, I'd talked about it last week. When you got a quarterback that can run like our quarterback's running right now, they got to account for that. We're +1 in the run game, and they got to account for that. So we're going to continue to do what we do and go from there.
Do you guys plan for that during the week, like if they start
Absolutely.
doing that?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like I said, you got to expect the unexpected when you got a quarterback that can run like ours. So we got to be ready for everything going into every game.
What's your level of cringe when Jalen gets hit?
Yeah, I mean, when he gets hit, you got to be cautious of that. But I think what he does that's really good, he's very athletic, and he does a good job of getting down. I mean, so, he knows how to take a hit. And then when he doesn't want to take a hit, he slides. And you see that on Sundays, and he's continued to do that.
When you're drafting plays and you have a center who can pull like Jason Kelce, how much does that help you formulate screens and maybe draw plays?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's, without a doubt, I think the best, most athletic center in the NFL. The way he moves, the way he sees the game, he's seen a ton. Coach said it the other day, his accelerated vision in the run game, in the screen game. I mean, he sees it before it's happening, and that is credit to him. He studies a ton of tape, and he's a tremendous football player.
Shane, is there a sense, even though you're not throwing the ball a whole lot as far as volume of plays, that you need to get more than Dallas and Devontae involved?
Well, I think our team is very unselfish, and it's all about the team. And however we need to do to win the football game, that's what we're going to do week in and week out. Obviously, we want to get everyone involved. That's the goal. But the bottom line is the stats are great, but the bottom line is winning the football game.
One of those guys who got involved late, obviously, was JJ. Like, what did you see out of him? Just the way he's kind of persevered this year and everything?
No doubt about it. I mean, he's a tough, scrappy player. He's done so much on special teams. He goes in there, he blocks, and then to make that play there, in the fourth quarter, that 23-yard reception, I mean, that's a credit to him and the hard work he's doing, and he keeps doing that and keep getting better.
A couple of those zone read plays, Jalen held the ball a little bit more when they were meshing a little bit. Is that something that you practice, and when is that holding that ball a little bit longer due to the defensive end?
Yeah, no, I think that's, we say read each of those independently. How's the defensive end technique? How's he going to play it? Is he going to slow play it? He's going to run up the field. So each of those plays are different, so he's got to read it differently.
I know that Jordan might not be out there on Sunday, but how did Miles and Jordan, how'd they complement each other?
They're great. They're great. I mean, like I said, our group of backs are all tremendous players, and I thought they did a good job. Miles was good. He hit it good. He had that big, long run down the sidelines. He can jump cut, and then obviously Jordan's a downhill runner, so it's been good.
Is it too general to say that Miles is better outside and Jordan's better north to south, or?
Yeah, no, I think that's game to game. I mean, we're going to have runs up for both of those guys, and they could be the same run. Those are both good players.
Not all mobile quarterbacks are obviously the same. What about Jalen's running ability is unique to him? Right?
You know what? He's a special player, and he's continued to do this every single week. And you saw it again on Sunday. He's playing really good football right now. And that third down run he had when he stuck his foot in the ground and made that guy miss and cut across the grain, that was probably the best run I've seen by a quarterback live in person. So credit to him and the work he puts in every week, and it's continued to show.
As a follow-up to that, in the spring and summer, you obviously couldn't see him run much because of the way practices are structured. At what point this season did you realize he was different as a runner?
I mean, I think you saw it early on, the first couple of weeks, and then now that we've been meshing and gelling together and continue to grow together as a group, I mean, it's just really coming together, but we got to continue to keep it going and stay focused on the present and focused on beating the New York Giants this week.
It's a pretty large sample size now, Shane. So you mentioned your +1 in the run game. Jalen's so effective. How much have you noticed as the season has gone on, how defenses have changed and shifted, say, we got to deal with this guy? How much change have you seen from the other side?
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways of trying to stop it, but again, that's the preparation part of it. When we go into a weekly game plan, how are they playing that, and how do we counter it? How are they going to take away the quarterback? Well, how do we counter that if they want to take away the quarterback? And without getting into too much scheme, if things like that happen within the game, we have great coaches and we do great sideline adjustments to get that right.
Boston's best games have come against the Giants over his career so far. Doing the tape study, what's the why behind that? What do you see?
Yeah, no, I haven't been here, but I know that he's had some really good games against those guys. And again, the offensive line has done a tremendous job of opening the holes for him, and then again, making guys miss in open space. He's been really good at doing that.
Obviously, the volume of passes hasn't been as much, but your yards per attempt are still good and maybe even a little more better than it was previously. You guys started to get balanced here. Are you noticing that defenses, it does open up a little bit more space downfield because you have so much success on the ground?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I mean, when you can run the football like we've been running it, it does open up those windows, down the field to throw it. And then, and then obviously if you run play action and they all sink out of there, he can check it down. And then also he uses his feet too when nothing's open. So it's been good.
We've seen you guys do a lot of pre-snap motion with Jalen Reagor. How are defenses responding to that?
I think Reagor's a special player that you can do multiple things with. So to put him in different spots and just see how defenses adjust more than anything. How are they going to play him differently than somebody else? So it's been good to see.
You mentioned earlier Jalen Hurts' ability to kind of avoid hits, not take too many. How rare is that in a quarterback, and how much do you have to teach that, or is that something that's just natural?
I think you talk about it, but he has a natural fear for that. There's some guys that have a natural ability to know how to get down and when to get down, and I think he does a great job of that, and he's been doing that his whole career, obviously probably through high school and obviously in college. It showed up in college, and it's showing up again now in the NFL.
We heard Nick talk about playing with nastiness to the team after the game. Is that easier for some guys than others?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mentality, and I think it starts with those guys up front, with the leaders we got with Lane and Kelce. I mean, those guys are nasty football players, and they play physical and they play hard, and I think that just trickles down. And then when you got a coach like Stout, who's a passionate coach, and he's coaching his butt off every single day, I think it just breeds. I think it breeds the energy within that group, and that's what we want.
Seems like we're seeing more of that out of Mailata, maybe, as the season's going on.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think it's the same thing. I think it's being around those guys. I mean, he's got a rugby background, and seeing some of his highlights where he's running some dudes over with that ball. I mean, he's a physical football player, so he's a really good player. We're excited to have him.
And now, since we spoke to you last, Goddard signed that extension. What's the next step in his game, do you think?
I think he just continuing to improve and get better. I mean, he's a big play guy. He's awesome in the run game. He's a do-it-all guy. So he's getting better every week and just keep getting on the football.
What did you see from the Giants on film? I assume you watched the
Yeah,
last game.
Williams is a really good player. It starts up front with him. He's good in the run game. He's good in the pass game, rushing the passer, and then on the outside with Jackson and the other corner, Bradbury. Those guys are good players. So, and I think this is my first year in the division, but anytime you play a division opponent, I mean, it's going to be a battle. It don't matter what the records are, how anyone's playing. It's from start to finish when you play a division opponent. So we got to be ready to go.
How did you watch that game last night? Did you watch the normal cut? Did you watch the...
Well, yeah, it was on TV, so we just kind of watched on TV, and then we got in this morning and watched the normal copy.
They play a lot of zone in coverage. Do you find that they play a lot of zone coverage?
They play some zone, but they'll mix in some man as well.
You guys were all together watching the game on TV last night?
Yeah, we were game planning, and we just kind of had it on mute in the background. We were game planning. We'd peek up at it, but really getting ready for the game and watching their previous games.
Did Nick finally get you guys some pizza?
What's that?
Did Nick finally get you guys pizza?
No, I need to talk to him about that, but he has gotten them some other stuff during the week.
Thanks.
All right, guys.